All right. So usually I would probably recommend that Jonathan and Veronica have an admin login into the site. That way, in case one of you two is out, somebody's not stuck being able to administer the system. So the way that you can create a new admin account, Jonathan, is at the top of the screen, there's like a main menu that says manage. So if you hover over that manage, and then by default, it's going to user accounts, but you can see there's some sub menus underneath that. And in the top right corner of this screen, there's a blue create button. If you click that create button, then on this screen where it says sign in username, that's the login for this particular account. So I'd say let's go ahead and create you, Jonathan, an admin account here. You can call it whatever you want.
Okay.
The full name out to the right of that is kind of like the pretty name, like how this account would show up in the UI of the application.
Okay.
On the left side, there's a drop-down menu for roles. Hit that drop-down menu for me, and near the top, you can see administrator. I would check that one, and then I would uncheck the user one at the bottom.
Okay.
And then you can get out of this roles section there. And then from this screen, you could set your password, that little blue link on the left-hand side that says set new password. You can do that from here, or you could save it, and the first time you log in as that account, it will ask you to set your password.
Okay.
Either way. And then hit change password, and at the top of the screen, hit the save button. So that created your admin account.
Okay.
So just to test it, I'd go ahead and let's log in as your account that you just created, which should be a different admin. And Veronica, if you wanted something more personalized than CBN News, whatever that main admin account is, you could do that as well. All right, good. So we created Jonathan's admin account. We're in good business here. All right. So next step, let's go through the process of creating our users, the people who will track their time in the system.
Okay.
So let's click on the Manage tab up there at the top. Manage users, same user screen there, perfect. And in the top right corner, let's hit Create, the button Create.
Okay. What's the difference between the Create button and then up here in the user? Oh, this is not creating them. I got it. Never mind.
Yeah, you can, by default, the Manage goes to the user account screen, but you can navigate to other submenus. This is what's going on there.
Okay.
Perfect. In the roles section, I would make them a time user.
Time user.
And uncheck the user. Perfect. And then I would let them set their own password the first time they log into the system, probably, so it's secure to them.
Okay.
And then what you can do is at the top on the right, there's like a little save with a plus sign icon. That's going to save this user and allow you to create the next user.
Okay.
And then you could just kind of go through that process and put the next person in there.
Too easy.
And hey, time user, you got it.
Save plus.
Save and new, you got it. Sometimes it saves that one in there, so just overwrite that with the next person.
Okay.
Sometimes the browser kind of just caches that.
Gotcha. Okay, time user. Great. Then and last one.
Well done.
Okay, done.
Perfect. So that's created our users. Now, just so I can show you, if you go to that under Manage and User Accounts, There's a list of all the users you just created. There's your admin account in there. There's the main general admin. So that's how you can just navigate to look at lists of people.
Okay.
If you want to modify them, you can just click the link for their name, and that will take us back to that modification screen. So if
Okay.
there's anything about this user profile you wanted to modify, you could do that.
Got it.
If you go back to that, you can also select multiple things here. So like select Ben and Cindy Lou or whoever. And on the icons across the top, there's one that has like a little pencil icon square.
Yep.
That would allow you to modify multiple people side by side as opposed to doing them one at a time.
Oh, okay.
Kind of like a compare and modify type situation.
Yeah.
So next steps, let's go create the data objects that are the categories that they need to track time against.
Okay.
So under the Manage tab, there's a submenu called Entry Column Data. Let's go to Pay Types.
Pay types.
What you see here is just our default list of what we call pay types that come with the system, but you can delete them, you can modify them. Veronica, how many categories do we have? Is it 4, 5, 3? Do you know?
I think I have 5.
Okay. So what you can do here, Jonathan, is do like that checkbox at the top left there,
Okay.
and then just uncheck 5 of those on the left-hand side.
Just wait a second. Six, sorry.
Yep, perfect. So just uncheck a 6th one.
Okay.
And then on at the top icons, hit the little red trash can icon, and that's just going to delete the other ones that were unchecked. All right. So what we can do, and this is a little bit weird, the check all, you have to kind of uncheck that and check it again.
Okay.
I don't know, it's weird that it has to do that. But then click that little check them all again, do the check
Okay.
all. And then there's that little, you got it, exactly.
Okay.
So what you can do here, instead of holiday, let's call holiday whatever your first category is.
Okay. So what are your categories, Veronica?
Regular hours.
Okay. Next.
Next, overtime, 125%.
Okay.
And then overtime, 150%.
Okay.
Vacation.
Okay.
The sick you can leave. And you had vacation and holidays.
Okay.
And you can save that at the top of the screen.
And
Let me see.
if we come up with new categories, can we just add them here?
You can, yes. So maybe I'm just saying here. It thinks you've got duplicates. Do this for me, Jonathan.
Well,
Go to
Yeah, because
Right.
some already had the name.
Modify-
Might be why.
Yeah, we modified the name of ones that were called regular vacation and holiday.
Yeah, we did.
all right, let's go. We can always go look at them. Go under entry column data, go to pay types. Let's see what things we have. That's them, right?
That's the-
Mhm.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good deal. So, yeah,
Just needed to refresh the screen.
we've got what we need. So good. All right. So next thing we can do, underneath settings, top menu, let's go to customize entry screens, then time entry screens.
Trees.
And near the bottom is standard time entry grid.
Mm-hmm. Entry grid.
There you go. Click that one for me. On the right-hand side, there's some checkboxes.
Yes.
about the middle of the screen. You can uncheck the show project tree and project column. Do you guys want people to be able to go and look at a future timesheet, or do you want them to only be able to look at like this week's timesheet? Like maybe in the future, let them like go into next week and put in some vacation time in the future or something like that.
The whole month would be good.
Okay,
that's
that's a good question
possible.
too. So do you want a monthly time entry period, a weekly time entry period, monthly?
Monthly.
Okay.
We want them to enter it weekly, but the pay period, they get paid once a month in Israel. So, March 1 to March 31 is one pay period.
Okay.
But I want them to enter it weekly.
Okay, then we'll have a weekly
Yeah.
timesheet, and then Veronica can run her report monthly.
Okay.
Okay, so on that same screen, then I would say go ahead and check the box that says allow users to view future time periods.
Okay.
You got it? Scroll down the screen a little bit. Here we go. So you see these columns are called like group, project, activity, pay type, bill type, comment.
Mhm.
On the left-hand side in the column order, you can change everything to 0 except for pay type. And then would you want them to be able to enter in like a note or a comment, like in a text format as well, or just have like a drop-down menu that has those 6 categories?
No,
know
a comment would be good. Sometimes they have something.
So then the higher the number, the further right that column appears. So maybe make comment like 4.
Do they ever enter their time based on a particular project or story? Or is it just time? It's just time.
No, time is just time.
Perfect. So you can just hit the save button down there at the bottom, Jonathan. And let's just do a kind of a preview of what this looks like. So underneath, go to the main manage submenu. Go to the submenu that says entry for others. And then user crew sheets, the top option there. There you go. So FY also, this is where you could, as an admin, enter like proxy enter time for somebody on their behalf if you wanted to. But for example, let's say Ben at the top there, there's a blue view link for time sheets. There you go. That should pop up a second window.
It does. I'm not sharing it. Hold on. Sharing. There you go.
So here we go. So like on this left-hand side here, we've got a drop-down menu that has all of those categories in it. They could enter in a comment in that text field out to the right.
Okay.
And then that weekly timesheet on the right is where they can just enter, whatever hours it is against each of those individual categories. And then you basically can click the save button down there at the bottom if you wanted to, and that would save that time for that period.
Okay.
So that's sort of a preview. That's what Ben would see when he logs into his timesheet, basically.
Okay. Is there a submit button also, or save?
There is.
Okay.
Next step here in the process, but that I wanted to
Okay.
give you guys kind of just a general look to see if this is kind of what you're expecting to be able to see from a time entry standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you can close down this little secondary window, or you could just delete the time in there for his timesheet too, or do that later.
Got it. Yeah.
So I believe I remember that people would be submitting timesheets to Jonathan. Is that right?
3 will.
Okay.
And then 2 will go to Veronica.
Okay, so we can create 2 separate approval processes here. I'll show you how to create one, and then once we create Veronica's admin account, then you can just duplicate that process, but it's pretty straightforward.
Okay.
So main manage menu there. Approvals submenu. Approval plans at the bottom, and then create time approval plan.
Okay.
plan name. You can call it whatever you want. I don't know if you want to call it your name, whatever would make sense. The next section, we can leave that as active.
Okay.
Next section below where it says approver full name. Thank you. You go. You go. Pick yourself. And then if you wanted to set a backup approver, you could, which means that if you were out on vacation or something, and maybe you wanted Veronica to be able to approve, you could set a backup approver, but her name won't be in that list yet because we haven't created her admin account.
Got it. Got it.
But then at the very bottom of the screen, you can click Save and Assign Users. And then you can just hit the search button. And then just pick the 3 people that you want to assign to that one. And hit Assign Approval Plan. So now those 3 people, when they submit their timesheet for approval, they're going to go to you, Jonathan, to approve those timesheets.
Okay.
If you wanted to, we could kind of go through that process. If you wanted to, like, submit Ben's timesheet for approval, just so you can see what that looks like, and then we could always reopen it and delete the time and sort of clear it out.
Sounds good. So for others,
you got it.
In order.
Now you can see he's got that submit for approval button.
Yep. Yep.
Yep. So he can submit that. You can see once he submits it, it kind of locks it down, so he can't make any changes to it unless it's been reopened or something like that.
Okay.
So now if you go back to the main interface, and if you go to the approvals submenu, and then approve sheets, you can see there's the timesheet that Ben just submitted for your approval.
Okay.
If you want to see it in detail, just click the period link there. And in the top right of that submenu where it says show comments, click full, hit that drop down menu and pick full sheet. This is then basically all the detail of the timesheet.
Okay. Okay.
And this is where you could approve a timesheet. If you were wanted to reject it back to Ben, you could click reject.
Okay.
If you click the reject button, that would allow you to put in a reason for rejection. And then he can see that reason for rejection on his timesheet.
Okay.
But in this particular case, go ahead and click the reopen button for me, which basically will reopen this out of the approval workflow process.
Okay.
And then you can go back to the entry for others, user crew sheets. You got it. View Ben's timesheet. Now you can see it's reopened. So now if you wanted to like delete those entries out, you could.
Okay. Got it. Got it. Yep.
Peter, did you have a question?
I did. On Ben's timesheet, there was a button that said open after he submitted it. Is that a new feature? Or if they make a change, or is that just in the web?
It's in the web interface, and by default, administrators have that if they're approving timesheets.
I see. So administrators would see that. Okay.
The user would see it. Because sometimes, Jonathan found that our users would sometimes accidentally submit their timesheet. And as administrators, it's settled down almost to nothing now. But when they had that situation, they would reach out to us and we would be able to reopen their timesheet so they could make the adjustment before it went through the approval workflow. So they might forget to add chapel or the fact they went to the dentist appointment on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
We could reopen their timesheet and they could correct it.
So that's the basic structure. So we've got our users created, we've got an approval process created. We would want to create Veronica's admin account and then create Veronica's approval process and assign those 2 other users to her approval process.
Jonathan, are the timesheets that are submitted to both you and Veronica normally a maximum of 40 hours per week, or do we have the 40 hours plus any additional working time that feels like overtime?
Yeah, regular hours are, correct me if I'm wrong, Veronica, are 42 hours regular and then overtime also.
42 hours regular, not 40.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
So Journyx does have the ability to build in what we call validation rules. So one of the validation rules that you could create is if somebody tried to enter more than 42 hours against the regular item, that the system could warn them that they need to enter any hours over 42 against one of those overtime pay codes.
Okay.
It's a little bit more sophisticated. I could show you how to do that, depending on if you guys think that you'll run into that issue.
Yeah, I mean, they will be using overtime, so it would easily separate it out.
Yeah. Okay. So let me, excuse me.
Me too this morning, so or this afternoon.
All right. So let's, I can show you how to build one of those rules. So there's a couple steps to do this. One step is go to the settings home menu. And then there is a submenu called manage fields and roles.
Okay.
And then go to manage custom fields. And in the search, just type in the word pay. P-A-Y in search. There should be a option there called pay group.
Group.
Near the bottom of the screen, there's a blue link that says manage selection values. You got it? Would this rule apply to all 5 people, or could different people have different rules? All 5 people?
All 5.
Okay. So this is going to be a generic pay group setting, so it doesn't matter what you call this. Could be all or everyone or
All employees, all users.
Okay.
Okay. And then check that box that says apply default to existing users and hit save. Basically what that's doing is on the person's user profile is putting them in that hourly employees pay group that you just created.
Okay.
So we can close that little secondary window if you want to. And now we can go build our rule. So in the settings main menu, and then in the submenu manage rates and rules, manage validation rules, basic rules time. So this is going to apply to all pay groups. There's only one of them, but that's fine. And then in the action, you can either, if you hit that drop down menu, you can either just warn them that they're validating this rule, but it would still allow them to submit their timesheet for approval, or you can block submission, which means they can't submit their timesheet if they're violating this rule that we put in place.
Gotcha. Okay. Probably better to block it so it happens correctly. That's how you do a VB, right? You block it?
I would block it. Yeah.
We block it.
Okay.
And then require is fine.
Okay.
And then the modifier is maximum.
Okay.
42 hours. And the period is weekly. You got it. Some select, if any, is like the default value is fine. And then pick the regular pay type.
Okay.
So answer me, how would they handle it if, I mean, I think everyone is submitting weekly. Do you have people who submit less frequent than weekly who would have more than 42 hours on a timesheet? Or would they do 2 separate sheets for each week? How does that work, Jonathan?
Right now, the crew they just submit timesheets once a month. So I used to be an hourly employee, and I know for me, like trying to remember my hours for a month was like really hard. So that's why we're trying to go weekly, just to smooth out the process for everyone.
Oh, so you're probably going to move everybody to weekly anyway. Okay, good.
Correct. Yeah. And
then on the message part, you can type in whatever you want here. I usually like to put this in all caps, but this text is free form, so you can put something like cannot enter more than 42 hours against the regular pay type, or something like that, where it gives them what you're trying to tell them.
Okay. Yeah.
And you can always modify this. You know, this isn't locked in by any.
Yeah. Veronica, you're welcome to tell me, you know, if you want to change that later or whatever. That's off the top of my head.
And then you can click this add, the add rule button at the bottom.
Lost my mouse on the add rule.
So now, if somebody were to go into their timesheet and they tried to enter in more than 42 hours against the regular pay type, and they tried to submit that, yeah, reopen it. Yeah, I mean, it's like you've been using Journyx for a long time.
Well, I have. I've been using Journyx for 14 years. So I enter my hours to Journyx through Virginia Beach, so I know how this thing works.
Oh, good. That's true.
So 42, you're good here. Now, if you tried to enter,
oh,
you know,
that's right. Yeah, perhaps 42.
If you tried to submit that,
so I can save it, but submitting is the error.
Yeah, so there's that validation rule kicking into place because I tried to enter, or try to submit more than 42 hours against the regular pay type there.
Brian, can they enter their time every day and just send it off when it's done? Or
They can. Yeah, that's what I would recommend from an accuracy standpoint, is to ask them to do it daily. If you can get them to do that, that would be great. And then let me know how you guys figured that out so I can tell everybody else. But yeah, they can just enter time as they go and then just save it. And at the end of the week, that's when they can submit that for approval.
Okay.
People find when they do that, they don't make the mistake where the admin has to reopen their timesheet because they're gonna forget the doctor's appointment on Tuesday afternoon for 2 hours. They're gonna forget it.
So true.
Let me ask on that scenario. If they do have sick time and they have overtime, is that legitimate, or is it the overtime go away?
It could be.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, well, I'm presuming based on my years of experience here, but the rule would still kick in. Like I could have 8 hours of vacation time, but I could still exceed 42 hours of work time on those other 4 days, potentially, I guess. But the rule that we built is only looking at the regular pay type. And so if they had, 37 hours of regular time and 8 hours of vacation on Friday, that rule wouldn't kick in because we didn't exceed 42 hours of regular time that week.
Okay. Yeah, the scenario I wrote down was 42 regular, 2 overtime, 2 sick. So that would.
So we probably should include all
anyway,
of
y'all
them.
can figure that out. Yeah.
But another rule that you could maybe build, Jonathan, could be, well, you can't enter more than say 8 hours of vacation in an individual day or something like that.
Okay.
So you can just build those validation rules, and if you guys get stuck on any of this, then just let me know and I can hop on a quick call or send you an email or whatever.
Okay. If I wanted to edit this one, how do I edit it?
So you can
modify.
You got it.
Right, there it is. And if we wanted to include the holiday and stuff,
just highlight both of them. Exactly.
Okay. There we go. Okay.
So the last thing I think I need to show you guys is how to just do some basic reporting.
Okay. One more thing is also, how does Veronica update the vacation and sick hours for the employees to see?
Yeah, like their balance.
Correct.
Okay, so I'll show you how to do that. So in the manage main menu, under user accounts submenu, there's a user accruals.
Okay.
User accrual balances. Yep. Let's hit the create button in the top right corner. On the left-hand side, we pick the specific person, the user.
User. Yehuda. Okay.
And then the hours remaining is the balance as of whenever you want them to have that, as of today or whenever they start tracking time.
Okay.
The accrual name is whatever you want to call that bucket. Like if it's vacation, just you could type in vacation there. And then you got it. Pick the vacation thing at the bottom there. and then you can save that or do the save plus sign, and it goes, and you can go create the next one.
Oh, okay. For the next person. Okay. And is this also how she would update it each month?
That'd be the easiest way. You could also do it via Excel, but since there's only 5 people, it'd be probably easier just to go through the user interface of the application.
Okay. So say that, we start with 99. The user, used 3 hours during the week, so it'd be 96. So she comes in here and just puts in how many hours, like say he gets 4 hours a month. She would come in here and just add this up to 100, right?
Correct. That's what I would do. And then as people track that time on their timesheet, it deducts from that balance in real time. So let's say that I got 100 here, but I took 8 hours of vacation this week. Then when Veronica came in here, she would see that that number is 92.
Okay.
But it's going to show the real time balance as of modifying this field.
Okay. And then, so you go back to it, they're also, does it show what it currently is? Because it's now, I changed
We
it
didn't
to
say.
50. Oh, it. Okay, so we'll save that one. Oh, we're just creating them here. We're not modifying them?
You can't. It's create or modify. You should be able to modify that also.
Okay, well, there's an error at the top.
But let's go back to like where it says user accrual balances. User accruals. Maybe you have to navigate up a menu. So it thinks we've got one, but let's say this is where you can modify it also.
From in here. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. It is different. User accruals. Okay. And then do you also do sick time, Veronica?
Yes.
So
Actually, I don't mind doing it in hours, but the people who are globally paid, I do it in days. But yeah, I can. You don't have an option for days, right, Brian?
Well, so the system thinks everything is in hours.
Okay.
But what you could do is you could put in, 1 day on my timesheet, right? But but then the hours look weird on the timesheet, right?
Yeah.
I'll have like 8 hours of regular time and then 1 for my vacation, even though you're trying to do that as days. So I would recommend, for consistency purposes, if possible, to put everything in hours.
Okay.
All right. And good thing this is recorded, and also you can use me as a resource if you guys need to go back and revisit anything.
So now if we have vacation, but he also has sick time, do I just create another one also?
Just create another one.
Name?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. And we call it sick time.
You're natural.
Sick day. And save.
Perfect.
Okay, so each user, if we have 2 accruing categories, we'll have 2 entries here.
That's right. And
Okay.
if this person logged into their timesheet, above their timesheet is a blue link that says accruals, and basically a drop-down menu will pop down and show them the amounts of their available leave time.
Do you do personal preference days with this group? Jonathan or Veronica?
Veronica? I don't think they have PPH.
I don't know what that is, so I'm guessing no.
Okay, so we won't see it here, but oh no, accruals right there. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I know I find this feature very helpful for me as an end user. I like doing that. So okay. Let's do there. Next, I guess you said pulling reports.
Yeah, let me just show you how to in general do a basic report. I may even can go as far as like building what I think the report that Veronica might need. So in the main submenus, there's an analyze button.
Analyze, okay.
And this is the main reporting section in Journyx. In a submenu, click on Run Report.
Run report.
These are the default reports that come shipped with the product at the bottom there.
Okay.
But what you can do is let's create a new report, but in the drop-down menu next to the blue Create sign, click a time report.
Report.
And then just hit the Create button. Top of the screen, report name. We can call this report name anything we want right at this point. Sample report, Veronica's report, whatever we want to call it. For the date range, you can either click the prompt for date entry when the report is run.
Mm-hmm.
That option, when you try to run the report, will ask you for a start date and an end date for the report. The option below that is more of an anchored period. So you could do run for, 1 month, 1 week, 2 weeks, whatever the anchored period that you want.
Okay.
You might could do the prompt for date entry. That way, then Veronica could, pick the start and end date for that report time frame.
Yeah. Sounds pretty good.
The report filters section, the next section below that. This is where you could run this report on specific people or pay types in this particular case. So you can see there's submenus there for like users. And if you wanted to run this report only on, let's say, bin, like click on the user subtab for me again. You can click on bin and click add. It moves bin to the right, and this report would only report over bin's time.
Okay. Yeah.
And you've got to include all users, only this user, all except this user, etc.
Okay.
The entry columns tab across the top of this section. This is where you could then go to the pay types submenu. Above this, there's like activities, pay types, bill types.
I see it. There it is. Okay.
These are your categories that we just created.
Okay.
So if you want to run a report that says, for this year, I want to see all the time somebody took vacation, or these 2 people vacation, something like that.
Okay.
So that report filters is how you can choose the data that you want to report on. The submenu below that, their next section is report output options. This is where you can kind of subtotal the data on the screen. So for example, let's say we wanted to do that for every 1 month.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say we wanted to subtotal that by user. And then below that, where it says third subtotal by, hit that drop-down menu, do time record fields, and do pay type there. And then, so basically what this would do on a monthly basis would be to subtotal the data by person and then by that pay type.
Okay.
And then the next section below that.
Oh, right here.
Fields to display, you got that, expand that for me. On the right-hand side are the columns that appear in this report. So you can remove columns by just highlighting them on the right and then clicking the remove button.
Okay.
So I would highlight everything except for user and pay type and comment. So group, record state, project, activity, and just remove those. And then the higher that item shows in this box, the further left in the report it shows.
Okay.
But this is probably a good feel for it right now.
Yeah. So.
And then just go ahead and save and run that report. I think we still have time in for bin. What did I do here? Let's try to go to run report submenu. In that list of reports down at the bottom, I should see my sample report. Let's modify that sample report again.
Okay.
Let me see. Click that prompt for date. Yeah, that radial dial. Let's go to report filters. Make sure we didn't Yeah, that's okay. That's okay.
Didn't save it. It didn't save it for some reason.
Yeah, it didn't like something I did there. Let's do the fields to display. Remove the columns that we don't want to see. Let's try to save it. Should be in that report menu again. Let's try to run the report. Just the next column over.
Oh, I see. Okay.
There. Okay, now it's picking it up. So it's prompting you to enter like a start and end date for this report.
Okay.
You could pick like the begin date could be like February 1st or something like that. Or I guess it doesn't really matter.
Yep. What's the difference between the date range and interval?
Good question.
Maybe it just starts on that day and you run it for 1 day, 2 days.
Could be segmenting it within that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's try to run that. There we go. Okay. So an example report here is now for the month of February. We can see subtotal by person in the first submenu, which is Ben. And then we're subtotaling his regular hours. So he's got 44 hours of regular time.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm sorry, 40 hours of regular time and 4 hours of sick day there.
Okay.
But you can kind of play around with subtotaling and the columns you want to appear in the report and things like that.
Got it. Okay.
Any Journyx report in the little hamburger menu in the top right corner, the little 3 lines, has a one-click export to Excel. So if you click that button, it's going to launch Excel for you, and it's going to dump this report into an Excel spreadsheet. So, this is, again, you can kind of play around with how you want the output to look that you need to be able to get that over to for payroll. But in general, that's how you can create and modify a report, export it to Excel.
And then if we had other users where this has been already, we just change to someone else's name here, and then here, we just push all this down, right?
Exactly. Yeah, where it says like total for bin, then below that would be like the next user.
Okay. Got it. Veronica, one question. Is this date format okay, or do you need a different date format? I don't know if it's possible, but
it is.
It's the American one.
It's no, it's fine.
We can play with it. Yeah.
Like, would day, month, year be better for you, Veronica?
For payroll, maybe. I'm used to it. If it's possible, yeah, we could change it.
Yeah, so let's go to the main Journyx user interface and see if I can remember where this is. Try settings. Try custom entry screens. Time entry screens. Modify the standard time entry grid. Just you can click the name of it. Let me see if this is where it's at. No, it's not here. Try this. Try underneath settings. Main menu settings. Let's do system settings submenu. Let's try screen appearance. There we go.
It is. What day, year?
Was it day, month, year, or month, day, year?
Day, month, year.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you.
Okay.
This one, yes.
There you go. Okay.
So then just save that at the bottom.
Save.
And then I think that'll probably change the time entry screen too. So if you go to like manage entry for others, user crew entries.
Yep, it does. Cool, great. That works.
That's what you want?
So I think that I think that's the basics. We've got the people created, we've got the categories, we've got the time entry screen set up, we have an approval process created for Jonathan, we have that validation rule built in for over 42 hours, we have an example report created that you can kind of modify as you see fit. So I think action items, I would create an admin login for Veronica that's not the default one.
So I did that here while we were talking about other things. The question was, when you create one without a password, when she just puts in the correct username, it'll ask her to create a password.
The first time she logs into that new user account you just created for her, the system will prompt her on the login screen to change her password.
Okay.
Jonathan, could you do me a favor and go back and show me the timesheet again?
Yes.
I know I was looking at the columns where it changed it to month and year. I mean, year and month. No, but the actual timesheet that
the actual timesheet. Yeah.
Just wanted to see what was in the upper corner. So that, okay, so it shows it as year, month.
No, day,
month, year. Through day, month, year. Okay, I was just looking up there where it says timekeeping for Ben. Your period is showing the same layout. Okay, just wanted to see that. That way they know what week they're entering for.
Good. Okay, so close that one out. Don't need that.
Well, Brian, you're true to your word. You said you can knock this out in about an hour. Exactly what's happening.
I'll give you 6 minutes of your life back. Yeah.
There we go.
And Veronica, did you have any further questions?
It's been great for me. Veronica, do you have any questions?
At this point, no. I'll play around with it, look at it a little bit. Yeah, I think we're good. I have Jonathan who's used to it, so that's good.
That's helpful.
And I had the recording, so I'll just go back and watch it all.
Yeah, I'll make sure this fire and I'll send it out to you as soon as the meeting is over. But it will also appear in this invitation as well. But I'll be sending it. Peter, did you have any comments or anything?
Yes. Could we go back to the validation? I think my question sort of messed things up. The 42 hours regular. If we can find that, I think we have the multiple pay types adding up to 42. I think the one, it really should just be regular in that one.
I think that's correct. But you can always modify it so that you're in the right place. Need to hire you to come work at Journyx, Jonathan. So
he's ours.
Okay. So if you, I think in this case, you would just want to have regular probably because the rule saying you can't work more than just 42 hours of regular before it kicks into the overtime. Yeah, that's correct. I think.
Wouldn't want that to apply anywhere else. Yeah.
Then you can just save it. There you go.
Right. So you could strategize other validation rules, like if regular's less than 42, then overtime doesn't work, or
exactly.
I don't know.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That would be what, minimum?
Minimum would be well, you don't want to set, because it's possible that I don't actually work 42 hours in a week, right? So you don't want to probably set that minimum that way.
Gotcha.
You're out sick or something like that.
Yeah, I would say think through what you think some rules might be that you want to apply, and maybe just send those to me if you can't figure out how to put them in there with testing.
Okay.
So Jonathan, you Veronica feeling good for your March 1 date?
I think so.
Is there anything you need from us? You look like you're in good shape.
The timesheets for the users here are much more simpler than the one I do every week. So it shouldn't be too hard to jump into.
I think so. Well, that's
If you guys
wonderful.
get stuck though, just let me know. Happy to help.
Okay. Wonderful.
Brian,
Awesome. Thank you so much, Brian.
Thank you.
No worries. Thanks,
Thank you,
guys. Have a good one.
Thank you, Denise.
Thank you. Bye.
there, you guys have a
Bye.
wonderful day.
You
You
too.
too, Denise. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.